Hello, I am Jagger J, and first let me address some of my subscribers before I continue this video so that there is no confusion over the sudden, non-furry related video. Well, this video is to see if my new idea would work well, aka changing my channel from being just about furries to being about all the fandoms in general, including ones I am not necessarily a part of. I know not many people will enjoy this sudden change, but again, this is a test, and you are free to voice any disapprovals in the comments below. So, with that out of the way, what is a video game microtransaction? Well, if you've ever played a mobile game, then you basically understand where I'm coming from with this. Microtransactions, at least in video game terms, is when a developer implements a certain object or mechanic, like lives, turns, or even in-game currency that you must spend real-life cash on. The practice has become fairly popular in recent years, from mobile games that require you to throw in a lot of dosh just to earn a single gem, to games created by trusted developers that purposely make something extremely difficult to collect in order for you to pay for it. Now, microtransactions are one of the most despised things within the gaming community, as it allows people to just pay real-life cash in order to win, aka known as a pay-to-win system within the community. And while most, if not all of it, can be ignored in single-player games, in multiplayer, it allows people who aren't skilled at the game to be able to breeze through it, while the skilled players have to grind for hours and hours to get where they are now. Now, to be honest, if a player who paid their way up to that point bumped into a skilled player who was at the same point in their levels, or had the same amount of power, then of course the skilled player could easily beat the person who bought their way to the top, mostly because they know all the ins and outs and spent more time practicing. So, why do companies continue to create games with microtransactions in? I mean, pro gamers seem to hate such a practice, and the only people who enjoy them are the people who don't really want to sink hours into their games just to unlock hard-to-get content. Well, it's fairly simple. You see, microtransactions, or pay-to-win systems, have been around for a long time, only in minor forms. For instance, back in old arcade machines, you usually had 3 or more lives, and it was tough to get any more than this amount in the game. As well, you would be faced with hordes of tough enemies. As such, there were 2 options. You could get good and be able to finish the game, or put another penny just to play further. It was a risk versus reward system, where you risked money for reward of progress. This, I believe, was one of the first ever pay-to-win systems, as you had to pay for lives and thus win. And this is the only pay-to-win system I kind of agree with. Now, before we continue, I do have a massive bias against microtransactions, as I am a gamer myself who believes pay-to-win and microtransactions are an incredibly cheap way to cheat in online games, at least in my opinion. And what I'm about to say may be incredibly controversial, but arcade games, I believe, are the only ones that get this pay-to-win system right. Now first off, I said arcade machines. Home consoles are a different story in this matter, but arcade machines being pay-to-win made it so that people who don't want to play the game after dying leave, allowing others to play the game. I mean, don't you hate it when you're sat for hours waiting for someone to get off the game so that you can have a try? Well, with the classical arcade machines, not only do you have to pay to play on, but you are more likely to get a turn on this system. Now, this is a different story with consoles you own at home, where it is a private system and such, but arcade machines were public property, and as such, having a pay-to-win feature on them, although annoying for some players, allowed for shorter playthroughs, meaning more players could play them. I'm hoping this stays in arcades instead of making its way onto consoles, but it's bound to happen. So, to answer the question I asked myself at the beginning, are microtransactions good? And what does the future hold for them? Well, as more and more games focus on the multiplayer or online sections of gaming, and leave single-player gamers like me behind, microtransactions are bound to become more and more prevalent. As I have a bias in regards to I do not know many arguments for microtransactions, then I would say that they are pretty bad, as not only do they eliminate the factor of skill from gaming, but it also lets people who have no talent in said game become the top of the leaderboards by doing absolutely nothing. Imagine it like a football match where everyone has a fair chance of winning. Now, let's say it was legal to accept bribes in football matches in order to get your points up. Team 1 does not spend any money and instead wishes to do things by skill, while Team 2 buys 5 goals at the start. Which team is more likely to win? The one who wants to do things the old-fashioned way, or the one who spent the money to earn the extra 5 points? Video games, at least in my opinion, are meant to be an all-inclusive system that allows everyone around the world to play together, with the one with the most skill usually being the top dog. Everyone, male or female, black or white, north or south, can team up, forget about life's problems, and play together in a fair playing field of wit and skill. However, nowadays the idea has turned from skill and wit to who has the deepest pockets. Now people who are awful at games have a massive advantage over the people who have worked hard to get where they are, which makes the games massively unfair for everyone there. Microtransactions, at least in my opinion, are as bad as spawn killers, which is a person who hangs out with a players come back into the game so they can shoot and kill them as soon as they come back. Spawn killers, however, most of the time are just trolls trying to annoy the other side by being a jerk. So, my final views on microtransactions. This video has been incredibly opinionated, so I'd like to know your views in the comments below. But my view is that microtransactions are just another way to cheat in games, and, while they can be fun to mess around with in single player, and were great for arcade games, it gives an unfair advantage to people who don't even know what the shoot button is. You may think this is a little harsh on people who are awful at games, and that they deserve a fair chance, if not a handicap even. But that is where you're wrong in my opinion. You see, I am a player only interested in skill, and I feel that, if you're about the game, then you need to practice hard at it to be with a fighting chance. It might not be fun for you, but when you cheat it isn't fun for others. If I step foot on a football field right now, I will be absolutely useless as I have never played it. But if I was to practice, learn all the rules, and play fair, it would feel way better than if I walked up to the ref and said, Hey, I have never played football in my life before. Can you let me please win this for $5? When you lose, you learn from it. You learn what not to do. And when you win, you feel victorious. But anyway, I have ranted enough on this subject. I would love to continue, but of course, I would just be repeating myself. So please, tell me in the comments below, what did you think about all this? Should microtransactions be implemented into more games, or are they just another way of cheating? Tell me in the comments below, and have a great day.